It is 22 minutes after the hour of 1 o'clock, and we are rolling with our interviews here on 88.3 FM. It's like this today, it's going to be like that tomorrow as well, from 10 straight until 3. And then, of course, on Monday we have our all-day election coverage here on 88.3 FM. Myself and my co-host Straight Talk, Franz Richardson. We're going to be in here, and you got regulated food, eh, Franz?
Well, that is already taken care of.
We
have done taken care of that.
Yeah, it's going to be fun in here.
Well, last time we had a full house of people pass through. There's always a great thing when you could feed people now and then, to have a snack, come and have a conversation and stuff like that. But
it was good to see when it was outside doing their thing. They dropped into 88.
Well, definitely
to rally their voters a little bit more. It's gonna be exciting.
Today we have the big rally, the rally bad no party in the house.
The Yellow Party. We have former MP Bon Camper here with us, the number 2 candidate on the Yellow Slate. Also deputy leader of the Nation Opportunity Wealth Party under the leadership of MP Christophe Emmanuel, better known as affectionately known as Toncha. Good afternoon, MP Bon Camper. How you doing?
I'm doing very well, Mike. And I see we have the straight shooter here with us.
Yes, my backup today.
No, but I like it.
We came in here together now because we have to bring out the thing out there about it today.
No,
Yes.
and that's what I like, because when people know what they're getting, then they know what they can vote for.
Exactly.
Because too much of people selling pie in the sky. Billboards are exactly that, billboards. They're going to put up what they want, and they hope you believe it.
Yes.
That's why my billboard said 3 things: knowledge, ability, expertise. That I know I can bring.
Yeah,
Because
yes,
that
for sure
is what my track record has. You will see me say I build
Nobody can
100.
question that.
Nobody see me say I build 100 or 1,000 houses. Nobody tell me I build in hospital. You can't see none of those things. I just tell you what
True.
I bring to the table.
True.
I think out of the box. I'm a very on my foot thinking man, and Hurricane taught me that. Julius Lambert in GB and Joseph Dollison in Public Works taught me to think that way. You think in crisis mode. When you can work in crisis mode, you can solve many problems. Not necessarily all, but many.
Let me ask you the first question.
Go ahead.
Are we prepared today for one of those major storms we have seen passing through the Caribbean?
No. We'll be very honest with you, no. We're not.
And you answered the question for me, because for me, when I felt what just passed us,
Okay.
60 miles, 100 miles off, and to see what happened, told you I'm very scared for what yet to come.
There are a few things always remember with weather. It's unpredictable, and so very often when you have a population that changes every few years, they're not. Some people are here. We're not here for Irma.
No, some people never.
A lot of people that were here for Irma were not there for Lewis.
Right.
So you don't live along with it. There's a handful of people that have, like, I worked
Been through
Lewis
both.
and I worked Irma.
Right.
I didn't work this last one here, but I sat on my back porch and I was texting to some of the employees, because I know them, and ask question here, ask a question there. I think there's a lot of, this place flooded, that road this, listen. Water, no? Mother Nature makes its own way. You want to build in the trench, it gonna move you eventually, because it's gonna come down with enough force. You build walls wrong, you undermine Mother Nature gonna take it back. It's that simple. You could build in the sea, it gonna take it back. You see, we have to understand how to deal with Mother Nature. You can't cheat it. Sometimes you ask it for forgiveness, let me pass. But you gotta be careful. Like right now, Public Works is doing a great job in keeping the ponds very low. A pump is up and running. So you're ready for the fight on water. But are you ready for the fight on wind? Not many people have trimmed trees.
Yeah.
Just look around
Oh,
with the
yeah.
60
We have
mile
seen
per
that.
hour wind.
We saw what
And
came down.
Yes,
trees
sir.
started dancing. So if you had 100 miles per hour, they were not dancing, they were on the floor.
Yeah.
And you'd have a different story altogether. So remember, trimming greenery is something that you do in June. You don't wait for the storm to come 2 days before and then trim it and throw it outside. Nobody picking it up.
Yeah.
Garbage people going home too, they got a house too. What's wrong with all you? You see, that's why we have lost in the past years, the awareness campaign that used to be there, it was something that I did very meticulously and with reason, because you cannot drop your guard when there's weather.
Right.
Never drop your guard, because you'll get a surprise of your life.
And I felt we dropped the guard on this
I think
past
we-
year.
I-
I honestly felt so.
I think the EOC was activated, but maybe a day too late. I think, you know, a little earlier, and you'd see more movement. Airport, you know weather coming. You make a so-called courtesy call to the minister telling her I closing the airport, but you gonna put away the tents?
Yeah.
I mean, come on. Who does that?
Yeah.
Who does that? I mean, you know, I don't want to slap him up, because he get enough of that, and he on his merry way out, but,
the
I mean,
question
come
for
on,
you,
man.
MP, for me, you know what's so sad? Over the last 4 years, what gone? We have destroyed more of our brain power
Yes.
in position.
Yes, we have.
Got rid of them, moved them,
Yeah.
shift people from one government-owned company to another government-owned company who had no clue of what goes on. And we didn't realize the damage we was doing to our own infrastructure companies
Company.
I
that
again,
we have ever done before.
I will let me say this not to cause a problem, but to get it off my chest. NVGB has a great mechanical engineer, power plant chief named Kenrick Chittick.
Yeah, that. for
But
sure.
you got Kenrick tumbling his thumbs, and you have people working in the power plant that do not carry a mechanical engineering degree. We gotta be serious, and Mr. Washington and his board better wake up, because they're going to slam into all of this. We got engine after engine going down there, and you have Kenrick, Jerome Chittick sitting down since 2020. When I move him, you ain't allowing him to go down in the power plant and help and fix it. You don't have to appoint him, you know. But he know more than all of them put together.
Yeah.
Yet he's sitting on the ass outside, and you wonder why the power plant breaking down, and nobody should say nothing. I am not attacking the power plant chief, you know, because they his fault. They put him there. They his fault. But the good ones, we don't want to go down there. Why? Because we got a vendetta against Mr. Chittick? Come on, man.
But why? But my thing is, I know, Troy should not have no vendetta
No.
against him. But why is he kind out? Why is he executing the vendetta of others for them?
I don't know, France. I
Because that's
wish
what
I
I
knew,
feel.
because I am one of those that protected and never went at Troy, because I said, give him a chance.
Yes.
He's one of we,
Of
give him a
course.
chance to prove
Yeah,
himself.
definitely.
And he did well.
Yes.
Until he started getting himself caught up in this engine phrase. I don't believe we gotta buy all these engines. I believe we gotta do more green. We gotta go more green energy where it's free. We can't afford fuel. We can't afford $5 million a month on fuel that we pay Sol right now. And we getting the sun for free, we getting the wind for free. So if you're going to invest for $2 million into 3 engines, you could have invested that in solar power and get the same, if not more, electricity.
Let me ask you a question, because you has the knowledge and you would know. I listened to one of the candidates in a former minister talking now about getting rid of the fuel clause immediately, just like that.
That's stupidity.
Isn't that irresponsible?
It's not
To be
irresponsible.
taken down, to be
It is
speaking like that?
it is stupidity. It is stupidity.
How could
Look,
someone that we so-called looked up to as a lawyer, as a businessman,
I know exactly what you're talking about. I even want to call his name
No, we
because
don't have
that's
to call
not my
the name,
style.
but I am saying it like this.
He said it's fraud, it's fictitious. But you were the minister. Why you didn't report it then? Because it didn't change for 7 years ago. It's the same thing.
Right.
It's all that is. Listen, I made a video on the fuel clause calculation, how it's done. I gave an example how we reached to the fuel clause. Fuel clause is basically what you are using to produce the power that you have.
Right.
They're saying, oh, but we're going to put in oil too, we're going to put in lubricants. Well, listen, you want to play that game? We can play that game. It's not an issue. Bottom line is this. If you have solar power, you don't have that fuel. If you have waste of energy and you're burning garbage, you don't have that fuel clause. This is how you're going to move it. This is not something you're going to move next week. I told the Prime Minister, if you want to give relief, pay the $5 million every month to Sol for fuel clause. Then you're going to give relief. Other than that, hush your mouth and don't make no kind of promises to people because it's not going to happen. It is not going to happen.
You're totally back on the company.
GB is not in a financial position to start helping out. They can't.
Yeah.
We got to be honest. Troy Washington didn't put a company in that position.
He did not.
He did not.
Sure.
So I ain't going to blame he.
Exactly.
Right.
Dreyfus didn't put it. I ain't going to blame he. But it wasn't like that in 2020. Then they fired Chittick, Arundel, and Janssen.
Yeah.
Right.
And all craziness started. And we took a downhill spiral. I mean, listen, I hear them talking, oh, we're going to appoint new people. Listen. Nobody didn't appoint nobody. All the board can do is present those people to government. The board don't appoint nobody because only the government appoints statutory directors and shareholders. So the government can't neither go and pick 3-4 people and put them there. There's a process where the board is fundamentally responsible for. And if the board don't do their job after 2 months or 3 months, whatever the articles of incorporation said, then the government steps in. Other than that, all them here balling out, getting up, itching their pants, but they ain't going no place because it's all nonsense. Temporary managers are one thing. Statutory directors are a whole different story.
It's a whole new process.
That's a whole different story because you're personally liable then for whatever is signed off on.
And I don't think they give Troy enough credit because when we sit down in front of the meeting, he named off all of the things that were not in place.
Can you recall what I told them because I came in after him?
Amazed.
I came in after him and I said, thank you for telling the truth.
Yes.
I told him, thank you for telling the truth because at least now we know where we stand.
Yeah.
Look, you can't blame Chittick and them for what wasn't done over 4 years.
Correct.
Because I have documents and I'm contemplating and put them out of the last shareholder meeting where the former managing board was involved. And the engines came up for discussion and the need for the engines. Can you recall the former minister coming here and said, it was never so?
Yeah.
And
I had asked about
Good.
about
I have the documents.
I asked about those minutes.
I have those minutes. I'll forward them to you all. You can read them and enjoy them. Because this is the problem with St. Martin. We are lying to the public of St. Martin for a vote. You don't need to vote for me if you believe I can't do the job. But don't vote for me because somebody tell you something about me. Come and ask me. 520-1188. That's my number. Never change my number. Never stopped answering people. If I didn't answer you, I'll call you back and I'll answer you. But the bottom line is this. We got to stop lying to people. We are deceiving people in this country for a vote. We sell ourselves short. We destroy our own. You read today,
Tell them.
$3.7 million.
My next question to you is that was when I read that this morning. Not only I want you to comment on that and GB and the airport and all this, but it was a shame. Both of us served the community for a long time, and we know the NGOs and these other things have always counted on certain large companies in this community
to promote
with
and
their
help.
corporate social responsibility to help them get forward and to get through with their programs and stuff like that. Now these companies, through poor whatever, are taken off the board to help anything in this community
Well, Mike, look at it like this.
because of short.
GB is out.
Yeah.
Telem is out.
Airport's
So
out.
next year Carnival, you got a major problem because that was one of your great sponsors.
Actually, we had that already.
Yeah, but I mean,
But now
now
it's gonna
with
be double.
3.7 million in
Yeah,
red,
it's gonna be worse.
Telem in a bankruptcy state,
It's worse.
you got a major problem in your hand. But like I said, I do believe for for Carnival, there is a different route. I see Carnival totally different than many other people see it. I see it as the cultural festival of this country, and there's no secondary operations going to happen when Carnival is on. So let me say from now, all those that got permits last year, don't come look for them next year because it shouldn't be there.
Right.
Once I'm in Parliament, I'm going to ensure to bring a motion to instruct government not to do that nonsense. I have nothing against nobody, but you're not going to undermine the St. Martin Carnival for your personal pocket.
Right.
Go do it in July.
Well,
Go do your show in July.
That totally got my support because I
I
don't
mean,
believe
come
in
on,
that.
man.
I don't
Come
believe
on.
in that.
I listen.
How are we gonna fix these government-owned companies?
We're going to have to review I heard something that I was a little skeptical about, and that was taking away the monopoly, for example, from GB, and allowing other companies to come and make electricity. And I don't think our country big enough for that.
Exactly.
What we have to do is, as government, put in place a mechanism that you're going to either do what your concession says, or I'm going to take you to task and fine you. And if I start fining you 5 million a year because you're not doing green energy, you as management know you can get no bonus.
Yeah.
So it's gonna cost you, and it's gonna hurt you where it hurts best, in your pocket. That's where it hurts people, in their pocket. Because people ain't got no shame box, A lot of people don't got no shame box, they don't have no legacy. They want money. And this is where you have to be careful.
But don't we have performance-based bonuses?
That's what I tell you. That's where you're losing it. Because if you get fined for 5 million, you ain't getting no performance bonus. You might get a deduction. Look, these are the type of ways that you can go at these type of things. This thing about a board is decided. No, the bottom line of a company decides.
Yeah.
And not even if you had a bad year, or even if you had a good year and then you get a bad lick in the end, it is still a bad year. No matter how good the first 11 months were. If the 12th month was a disaster, you have a problem. And we got to be honest with ourselves. Look, we have very few companies with a concession, with a true concession. The harbor's one, the airport one, Telem is one, hospital is another one, because remember, there is no second hospital. We open a little something over the hill, but that's not a hospital. They got no beds in there to put you up. So again, when you are doing these things, you have to set a certain demand in the concession. Now, they add demands, for example, at GB, TLM and all them, that management has to comply with budgetary cycles, get discharged for the previous year. When you hear that books ain't ready and this wasn't done and that wasn't done, no audits, 3-4 years, then how is management being discharged? Legally, I'm talking now.
Right.
This is not any more political rubbish.
Right.
This is legal ramifications, because no bank going to deal with you.
But you have financial consequences to your creditors.
Natürlich.
Yeah.
Natürlich. But what I'm saying is, you have to have audits done, but you also have to have your year reviews done financially, get a clean bill of health to move on. Otherwise, your creditors get very anxious. Does GB, for example, have a credit line with Sol for a year? I doubt it. I think they got 30 days. They don't pay within 30 days, pipe off, pipe close. Why? Because of how things go.
What is
I am
happening?
sure there are a lot of things that play a role, but
But it's going to be even worse now with these type of engines we got.
well, again, like I said, we have to look at the situation the country is in. Because France, at the end of the day, Mike, the only thing people really want to hear is bunks. How is it now going to get money in our pockets? Or how is it now going to make the money in our pockets last? Last throughout the month and not finish by the 10th of the month. How do you do that? Now, the things that drive your livelihood is the cost of living effect. Your housing, your transportation, your food, your medical. Those are the type of things that play a major role. And utilities. Which one do you control? Which one do you as country control right now? One. Basically one. The utilities. You decide what you're going to do with GB. You can say, well, we're going to bankrupt GB, take out a few clause, everyone just pay a little bill and we done. And a few months from now, GB is bankrupt. Or you say, let me look for a different way. It is not going to be an overnight solution, but if I plan this well, within the next 2 years, I can be at this level. I can have so much solar power, I can have so much alternative power through waste to energy, maybe even a windmill here, a windmill there, whatever it is in the vision of utilities where GB and the government can find each other, you have a way of inputting into people's lives. I spoke about, Mike, electric buses,
Yes.
solar buses. Why do I speak about it? Because it doesn't use fuel. The maintenance is much less. So people will get a return on investment. I was doing a little research, Mike, and again, I haven't gone in depth in it yet, but I did a little research. And you know what is one of the biggest things nowadays in the Grand Prix? They call it the E1. Electric cars.
Oh, electric cars, yeah.
Big sponsors are involved in electric car racing. Why? Because of climate change. Everybody's trying to go a different way. Instead of fuel, you use electricity. They do it with racing, with boats, and all kind of things. So think out of the box. We are now planning to do something with drag racing. We want to get the strip. I made a little video on it. It's our own. We should own it. We should do it. This was Francis' brainchild. I'll never take it from you because you're the one that came with it 14 years ago. And I'm still saying this. This is the time to get it done. I spoke to Vromi. I said, can we make a piece of land available? I will honestly say, when I spoke with former MP Peterson, who's chef de cabinet, Miklos, and Patrice, the minister, they were open to it. So I said, okay, let us look at a piece. Let us see how we're going to take it from here. These fellas are going to build it themselves. They are not cash trapped as the government is. These are fellas that invest in it's $1 million industry.
Yeah, it is.
And it's big money. And they work on cars that are worth 50, 100, 200,000 guilders. So they can build their strip. They want to do that. The drifters, they want to do that. They just need the land. Because flat land is a difficult thing to get. So we now found that. So you can do something with this. You can play with this. But we need to start looking at value for money projects. We can't just be building a road to build a road for the sake of building a road. You have to find things. So I spoke already about electric buses, solar panels on people's roofs, because that will take off the load from GB and then not destroy your economy. Because as long as people have electricity and the businesses have electricity because there is solar power available, even if it's during the day.
Right.
It helps you with your economy instead of being in a blackout status most of the time. Look, again, GB needs to become a 21st century green energy company.
Yeah, have to.
Look, I keep saying this, and some people got mad with me in the beginning, and now they're all resonating to what I said. It is impossible that monies that were sent to this country to rebuild this country and revive this economy is being paid to companies that don't belong to St. Martin, don't pay a cent in St. Martin. I have a fundamental problem with it, and it's nothing against nobody, but if money was sent to my country to rebuild my country, I don't care who doing it. You can't be sending that money abroad. You can't be giving it to a contractor abroad.
The NRPB, for example, would argue and say, 90% of the contracts went to local companies.
Yeah, they didn't send 90% of the money though.
Justify.
You see, this is the game you're playing with words.
Yeah.
I have a problem with lying. Let me say it again. I have a fundamental problem with lying. You want to lie to yourself. Go in the mirror and talk stupidity to yourself. I can't use the word on here.
No.
But I mean, it irks me because they really think we are all that stupid. They really believe so. And because we are so gullible to party politics and to friend politics, that if somebody says, don't worry about Campbell, man, he's talking stupidness. He's just talking that because of bap, they're going to go with that. Yeah. While they're not realizing that $25 million could have had their brother or their mother or somebody else working, and now they are not.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question.
This is what we miss.
Yes. On the issue of the repairs and this whole NRPB, we saw where the roofs of the Red Cross homes, who repaired those roofs? That this little tropical thing that passed there?
You know,
please explain what happened?
Yes, it's look, the Red Cross building is a concrete roof. So what they did is, because living under a concrete roof can become quite hot because concrete absorbs. So what they did is they put a layer of foam blocks on top of that concrete roof, and then they layered that with like an asphalt, like a tar paper. Normally, you have to make sure that everything is stuck properly together and it's stuck on the concrete. It wasn't stuck properly on the concrete, and that's why it lifted. And it's like, I think this was done last year.
Who paid for that?
I don't know. This was a Red Cross project.
Oh, Red Cross project?
This was the Red Cross project, and they knew.
Well, the Housing Foundation came out and said
it's theirs. They reported it. Yes, no. It is. Let me rephrase. What it is the Red Cross did this project. They paid the contractor. They were told the work was not done correctly. The responsibility lies by the Red Cross.
Yeah, yeah.
The seniors, they did not have serious water damage. There were a few leaks alongside the wall where concrete joints, that's where the leak comes first. They had a few of those. But we said the people were flooded out. No, that was not the case. It looked worse than it was. Let me put it that way. Construction-wise, I'm talking about construction.
No, that's what I'm speaking about
Yeah.
concerning the construction of
Yes,
what they did for me, I think it was very poor.
It was a poor job.
For something like just imagine
Yeah.
something that was stronger.
You gotta find it in French Quarter. You want to meet it on the road there, you gotta meet it in French Quarter. No, so I think in that sense, look, on first glimpse, it looked as if the roof was blown off.
Yeah.
But it is a concrete roof, so the
Right.
concrete didn't blow off. It was the cooling mechanism placed on top of the concrete roof that was blown away.
Not much elections is Monday. I was going to say Friday. Some of us wish it is on Monday, and you've been out there from early,
Yep.
pushing your messages, pushing your experience, your knowledge, your capability. Do you believe today, Thursday, you've done enough? With a couple of days still to go, you've done enough for people to put their faith once again in MP Township and Campo?
I think so.
Yeah.
I really think I have done what needed to be done. Totally different than what I did in January, and I think that had to do with my state of mind a little bit also,
Right.
and naturally with the deceit, because I was on a good roll. And then came the deceit in the newspaper about, I couldn't take my seat.
Yeah, that was unfair, right?
Yeah.
Right before
And
election.
they did it 2 days before, and GB didn't help me at that point in time when they started knocking off all the
All
radio
the
stations. Nobody had power. I mean, I was by grace. I had to do a Zoom,
Yeah.
like a little Zoom interview, a WhatsApp interview.
Yeah.
You all were down too.
Down,
So
yeah.
wherever I was to go that day,
The
that I could have
sabotage
combated it. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Then I also spoke to the chair lady of the Central Voting Bureau, and she said, "But Mr. Bancampa, we never said this. You can't. We never said you can't take your seat. I had legal vet everything for us, and I can take my seat. If Christopher Emmanuel was appointed minister in the last election, I would have taken my seat. And they all know it. So now the tune has changed. And now the tune is, if I was in his position, I'd have refrained from running and wait till it's finished and his case is done. No. When I am accused and convicted maliciously by a corrupt institution, you could bet your sweet ass Bunk's taking them for the long ride. And I am going to get into parliament where I can make serious changes. Because if it is one place that needs an inquiry, it's the prosecutor's office. There needs to be a parliamentary inquiry there. Because things that happen in there, the way they happen, is not normal. Basically, what it says in simple terms, if you got money, you got a chance to fight. He say you got a chance to get away now. You got a chance to fight. If you don't have money, you're going to jail. So I was displeased and disgusted in a way when I heard a lawyer say, no, but just stay out. Don't fight it. I liked how you put on a place because it is wrong. You're telling people it is okay to be sentenced, and don't worry about the Supreme Court because it makes no sense. It makes all the sense. The last time I was sentenced, I was convicted completely, cleared of everything by the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court cleared me, not the first instance and the appellate court. They sentenced me to 18 months in first instance. Then they said, no, we'll give a community service and a fine. And the Supreme Court said, no, you're giving him nothing.
You were acquitted completely.
I was acquitted completely in my first case. In Supreme Court. So yes, it has value. It costs you money. And if you don't have the money, then very often you don't go. Now, you see, the thing is, in the justice world, and I still believe in justice, I don't necessarily believe in justice being applied by certain people because they have an agenda. And I will say that bravely. I don't fear it. Some people believe that I'm afraid to go to jail. I'm not afraid to go to jail. I don't want to go to jail because you take away a lot of my freedom.
Yeah.
But
Change your whole life.
don't believe that I am afraid to fight the fight that needs to be fought. What they did to France is a damn shame. He might have made mistakes, But what they did to him, one can't walk and the other one go in jail. Something dead wrong.
Hate me when I say that.
Okay? Yeah, but I don't
When-
care.
when
I gonna say it because I
I
have
would be
lived what
straight.
he's living. I have lived it. I am fighting them for 15 years now, my brother. Not 1 or 2, 15. And they don't like to lose.
As an MP, going in as an MP, and I've said that people tell me don't stop saying that they come after you, but who questions the questioners? I mean, what can an MP do
Mike,
on the floor of Parliament and with the colleagues of Parliament?
a parliamentary
to do this,
inquiry.
to fix
A
this?
parliamentary inquiry is what gonna pack them up. Because they have no, are you talking? No, you're going to talk. Maybe behind closed doors, but you're going to talk. And we are going to question you. You ain't bringing your friend to question you.
Right.
We're going to question you on where we believe you're going wrong. Listen, you cannot just throw justice under the bus. Make no mistake.
Right.
This is not Mullet Bay inquiry.
No.
This is a whole different
Yeah,
sort
yeah.
of inquiry. But you must remember this. It shouldn't be so either that trias politicas doesn't exist in your country. That justice decides who gonna get elected and who ain't gonna get elected. Who are picking up 3 days before, who are picking up a week before. Because you do that to influence the elections.
Yeah.
That I cannot support.
Yeah.
You knew they did it in January. Why you waited in August to pick them up? Then because your intent is, your agenda is to punish those that you believe are wrong. Not that you know or have proven are wrong because they haven't been in courts yet. Let us not confuse the role of justice. Trias politicas is 3 separate poles. And when one of those poles want to sit on the seat of government, like how often you see judges tell a minister, you can't give land if you don't do bam, bam, bam. Hey, hold on, boss. Hold on. Go change the law. Go change the law. And if you don't change the law, don't come tell me what I can or cannot do. Because you don't make the law. You are the executioner of the law. And yes, you are granted a certain freedom when there is no law and you see that the country is being jeopardized by what's happening, you can step in. Like the gay marriage system in Curacao because of the discriminatory factor in the Constitution. But you don't make law.
Right.
That's what Parliament does. That's what government does. Those are the initiators of the laws, not the courts. The courts can vet them, but they are not the approvers of the law. We shouldn't lose track of that.
The No Party, leading up to coming up to the election now, it's the first time party ran, it was last election, the second time we're running now again. I mean, how are you feeling? Are you confident that the party will maintain its
I think we're going to do better. I think we're going to do
maintain
better.
or grow?
I think we're going to grow.
And what, the key question is, what gives you that confidence?
They want to change. They want to change. I have spoken to so many people, Mike. I am not talking about 5 or 10. I'm not talking about 100. I'm talking about hundreds and hundreds of people. There are a few common denominators. Like the NA now, they tell me never again. That's what it stands for. Never again. And, the UP, they like to say, you had your chance and blew it. So don't ask for another one. You had it already. It is politics. But sometimes the sentiments behind those expressions say a lot.
Yeah.
They really, really say a lot. Look, if you like it or not, Samantha went through a very turbulent last 4 years. Yes, there was COVID. Yes, we had a very serious issue with COVID. But look at GB. Look at TLM. Look at the airport.
Hospital.
Look at the hospital. How long more does that have to go on? And who put us there? Because everybody washing their hand. Nobody do GB nothing. Nobody in the last 4 years do TLM nothing. Nobody do the airport nothing. I can recall when the holding board fired Brian, that we get a call from Holland. Tell the Prime Minister, you better put that little boy back or you're going to see what can happen.
Yeah.
And what did she do? Lap her tail between her legs and put him back. And then turn around and fire the board.
Fire
the board and management.
Yes, it's to show you when you govern by fear, You cannot govern.
Or by somebody else's agenda.
You are following. When the central bank screamed at him, together with Van Hoffler, and tell him, you better fix India and fix it like this. Atwell didn't think, he just signed. He didn't think. And now, you hear him there last night crying, yesterday crying. Oh God, they want to keep the meeting. And but you sign it. You mess it up. You came to Parliament crying about sign this budget and pass this budget by the 31st of March. Otherwise, what all ain't going to happen? For the same CFT to come back and tell us, go cut 30 million. Because all those projections in that budget that you all passed the 31st of March ain't no good. 30 million we cutting right now. And we're in August. We got 5 months to go. We are not serious. And then you tell me, give me another chance. But
where do you see them being able to cut 30 million from that budget? When you look at it.
We ain't gonna do nothing. Salaries is hundreds of millions for all the civil servants, the police, justice, everybody. I don't see them being there. You look, we can cut, We're going to cut in any sports that have to do anything.
But you can't cut sports no more because sports is dead. They ain't got no money there.
But
they cut the tourism budget.
Yeah,
tourism budget is dead.
Tourism, listen, anything that you were going to pay, anything that you had to pay, cars you had to buy, all those things are going to be scrapped. Projects are going to come off. Even your, like, building the roads, that money was there, they're going to hold on to that money. They're going to cut it now. They can say what they want. They are not going to spend what was approved but wasn't spent. Because they got to cut 30 million. So they're going to say, okay, I'm going to cut it. I ain't going to build it this year, but it was approved already, so hopefully next year if I got money, I'm going to go back, pick up more approval, come and build it. Government's going to have to move, just simply move 30 million. Move it off of their books, and it means whatever is tied to that 30 million is moved off the books for now. You see, friends, that's why when you hear them talk about, I want to build a $40 million prison, I scratch my head and say, but you want to build a prison, but you don't want to fix the schools. You don't want to put money in agriculture or fisheries or animal husbandry. You're talking about food sustainability, but you ain't doing a damn thing about it. You want to build a jail. That's what you want to build, because the Dutch man tell you, build a jail. And I'm saying, how serious are we? And I listen to them passing around these tapes talking about how the lock-up's hot, how the lock-up to you, and this and that, and everybody got to fend for themselves. I want to fend for myself. I ain't building no jail. I ain't building no jail. We got ankle bracelets, start putting people on ankle bracelet. Exactly. And yes, there are an X amount of prisoners that you can't just put out there because of the crime. So we might need 40 slots, 50 slots. Good. Then that's what we're going to build. This thing about building 120, 200, for who you building it? When you tell me you building a 200, they're making them into Vluchtelingenkampen. Campen. So they're moving away all the rails and everything. Because listen, in Holland, you have air conditioned TV, everything in your place, Shower, toilet, everything in your own cell,
No, but the issue is they're lacking homes. They're lacking.
So they're turning them into asylum seeker homes. That's what they're doing.
Yes.
They're using them for the asylum seekers because they get a lot of people coming in there every month into the Netherlands. So that's what they started using them for.
A lot of pressure.
A lot of people in Holland, yes, a lot of people, listen, you have hardcore criminals. You can't let those go.
Of course not.
But a lot of people, white-collar crimes, the person that committed a white-collar crime deceived somebody, defrauded somebody, stole most probably money, property, take it back from him and give him a fine. But you're going to lock him up at 300 guilders a day, 9,000 guilders, 5 minimum loan jobs that government could have paid people, even if it was cleaning the beach. We're going to lock up people because that feels good. We lock up the big boys. We do this. You ain't doing nothing. Because that big boy can't feed the family and whoever was working for him anymore. Think that way. Think right. Because in Holland, they ain't locking them up. No. Everybody got weekend pass and you're in jail, but weekend you're going home.
Right.
I mean, listen, reintegration we call it. Well, let me reintegrate too, no? Why we can't reintegrate? You see, we have double standards in our justice system. And that's what we need to regulate.
And what do you believe has to happen now with Telem? It's in my cry. It's kind of bothering me when I read it. And to know that so many was laid off and so many might still be laid off. What do you is your if you're in parliament or government, the executive branch, what has to happen now?
With TLM, I think you have to look for a merger. To save TLM, TLM is going to have to merge.
With who?
With whomever you can make the best deal with for your country. Now remember, big companies have big money, and they can wipe a country right off the map. Look how Digicel and them did it when they were in the Caribbean. Be careful. It's not as simple as it looks. That's what I'm saying. But I believe at this point in time, a merger with maybe one or two other companies, telecommunication companies, might be the way to go. Remember, so many people are buying Starlink right now. It's a matter.
It's crazy.
And that is going to destroy TLM because nobody's going to have an account there anymore. And they go, oh, we're going to stop it. You can't stop it. You can't stop Starlink. The same thing like we were going to stop Roku and Fire Stick, and I ain't stopping nothing. Stop talking stupidness. Puerto Rico is too close, the French side is too close, and the Starlink is allowed on the French side. So they have no control over Starlink because the zoom down is good enough. So again, we just have to look at, where are we going with it? This is the same thing like the central bank. What are you going to do with it? We're going to continue flying birdie guilders that nobody in the world takes but us and Curacao? I mean, we got to be real. Are we going to dollarize or not? Are we going to secede from the central? These are serious discussions that we need to have in our parliament. And we need to agree, okay, what are we doing? What are we going to do? And how are we going to do it? And most importantly, what's the added value for countries?
But have we looked at the cost to manage and run our own currency between Curacao and St. Martin?
Well, I think managing the currency, I think they pay, 70 million guilders a year to run the central bank. And the question is there any added value for us? The only value we get out of the central bank is the 26 million that they pay us and the
But now
foreign
you're not going to
exchange.
get it no more based on the agreement that they signed. Most of that money going out for Kenya.
Again, and the foreign exchange tax, they get 26.5 million guilders every year. That's mine. They can't touch that. What they did with Kenya, and that's where I have such an issue with it, is now suddenly we got dividend.
Yeah.
Because it's dividend they're paying us.
Yeah.
They're now paying us dividend. My thing is this. So you
tell me we never get dividends all these years. All of a sudden now you could find dividends.
Thank you. That's exactly what they're saying. And now for the next 30 years or 50 years, whatever it is,
So what
they
they did
want...
with that dividend that they had there all the time?
Go ask them, no? Most probably bail out Hero. You ever thought of that? Central bank costs Hero. Central bank costs Kenya. And nobody getting punished.
The people of Samar getting punished.
Naturally. But I am still saying what I said, and I'm going to continue saying it.
But how do we fix that issue for those pensioners as a country? Because we have a responsibility.
Simple. France, it is not difficult. People making this thing more difficult than it is. And I'm going to say it again. I don't want to say, no. Simple. 3,000 people. APS right now manages about 3,000 people. So I have to create in APS a section for Kenya. Why? Because Kenya come with different premiums, they come with different advantages and disadvantages. So you're going to put them in there. You're going to allow them to transfer into APS. I can't force them, but if you want me to safeguard your pension, you have to come over to APS. So I'm going to adjust the law to allow this to happen, because you must adjust the law. Because right now APS is more for government-owned civil servants and those type of things, government-owned companies, etc. Kenya is across the board. So you're going to have to, for those 3,000, you make an exemption and you bring them in. All their premiums they used to pay, they're going to now pay to APS. APS will take care of their pension as they go out based on the agreement that was made with these people when they signed in. Secondly, you are paying $3 million per year to Kenya, a privately owned company. No, you're going to pay APS $3 million. A government.
Who's going to pay APS $3 million?
The central bank. Just like how they were giving me the money to go pay Kenya and Curacao, they're going to give me the money for me to pay APS.
Okay.
That's what's going to happen. If that happens, two things have happened. APS will get 100 to 150 million guilders over a span of time. The pensioners would have been protected and they're in there. Curacao can do the same with their members from Kenya, with their pension fund if they so desire, but at least we have complied with the request of the Dutch, which was safeguard the pension workers of India. We took care of our 3,000. I can't talk for Curacao.
And that's a proposal of the now political party?
Yes, sir. We have spoken about it twice already. And we told them, everybody say, oh, this, and oh, no. You signed an agreement for 3-point-something% on the liquidity loans, where we should have gotten those loans wiped off the books like George Pantoflet, the former MP, had requested. And everybody laughed at them, everybody looked at them. But say one, say two. If you're going to hang this sword of Damascus over my head for 315 million guilders for the rest of my life, because come October now again, the discussion going to start. Where we going from here? Because now we got a new government. What happens if they say, no, come, we start a payment plan. You all got 10 years, 30 million a year. I don't want to hear no nonsense. What happens then? Because we have no agreement. We have no agreement. Our agreement going for a year, you know.
Well, we have no agreement until the Parliament or something says
Because
that.
up until today, India ain't etched in stone. Remember, and the former Minister of Finance said it correctly. Here, government goes and signs off an agreement tying a country to 30 or 50 years, but don't have parliamentary approval.
Yeah, that's what I said. Nothing's written in stone until Parliament says it.
Exactly. That's what happened.
Yeah.
That's what the former Prime Minister and the Minister of Finance come into the country to. And I'm saying, I don't know how legal it was or how illegal it was, but the one thing it is for sure is not approved.
Right.
And that's why they're crying now, and everybody getting real nervous, because there's this thing in the Civil Code of Conduct that a minister can be held personally liable for any kind of nonsense he commit the country to. And now certain people feel in that heat. And that might be their problem. But again, like I said,
Have you discussed this with APS, their management, their board of that type of possibility?
No,
Does
I
that fit within their scope of what they would like to see done?
you know, I can't answer that. I would have to talk to Mr. Williams before I even venture on that road.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is a pension fund always looks for financial injections. And when you can get an injection for the next 30 years of 3 million every year, that is not an injection a pension fund will want to turn down unnecessarily. As
But
long,
wouldn't be wise that the now political party that exists now would request APS to come to Parliament and ask
I
those
think
cardinal
I think
questions?
before you even go down that route, that the Minister of Finance should be the one talking to APS to see what is tangible, what's not tangible, what can work, what cannot work, and then have the discussion in Parliament instead of going to Parliament a bunch of grandstanding, and in reality you get nothing really done because everybody wants to look good and smile before the camera, you know.
Yeah.
No, I think the Minister of Finance, you are the one responsible really for APS and Central Bank. You have a little chit chat and see what's possible, how it can work, and figure out. I think Marinka she has a good head on her shoulders, and
Yes.
as minister, I think she can do well if she maneuvers those waters
Yes.
correctly. Get a few people around you that know, get an aquarist to look at this thing carefully from the side of the pension fund and from the side of government. What does it really mean for the government of Samantha? What does it really mean for the pension fund of Samantha, the APS? You know, because you want to help, but you cannot help at the detriment of,
The question would be,
APS.
do we have confidence in the people who are running Enya now, if this agreement that the central bank is agreeing on would succeed, based on what transpired, what happened previously?
I can't talk on India, but what I can tell you is this. So we make an agreement and India picks up the insurance company and sells it to a group in Taiwan. What now? You can't tell me I can't sell my company. Who are you? You can't tell me that. So I can sell it to anybody I want. And we've got the same stupidity going on tomorrow again. You see, this time it's headquartered in Taiwan. You can't tell me I can't do that. You see, and this is my fear. This is a privately traded company we talk about, you know. This is not government owned or government influenced. And when Holland stepped in and said, you must solve the India issue, a privately owned company issue, I started scratching my head and said, but we're in real trouble now. Because tomorrow, a radio station go belly up. And oh, that was the oldest radio station like remember the days of the Daily Herald when Holland had to give them a financial injection to make sure that the news stayed correct? Let me tell you something, a lot of people forget it. I don't forget. I just don't mention it too often. But I don't forget. I don't forget.
We all know that. We all know that.
So I think it's important that we look at the greater good of the country. 3,000 people is a lot of people in your country.
Of course, you have to protect them at the end of the day.
At all costs.
We have to find a proper solution
Yes.
that does not burden the company or the country for at least another, let's say, 30 years.
Yeah.
So MP.
That's our friends just sent us a warning.
We got,
I know I got back up. I know I got to back up. Forward. But
so,
it is.
so now moving forward and now, again, Monday's a big day for the party.
Yes.
Over the next couple of days, I guess the party's going to be out there doing its thing.
Yeah.
I believe they have in St. Peter's.
Saturday. On
Saturday.
Saturday now, we are going to be at the Rupert Maynard Community Center.
Right.
And naturally, we are asking all the people from St. Peter's, Ebenezer, South Road, come out, meet with us, have a talk. A straight talk. No
Yeah.
nonsense, no promises. Just I'll make this promise because if I'm elected, it's going to happen or we're going to have a problem.
Okay.
Come January 1st, 2025, seniors will not pay wage tax nor income tax anymore. The law can be changed. The law will be changed under the now-led government. And that's a bold statement I'm making, but it's a statement I'm willing to make and go down for. Because if we can't take care of our own seniors, nobody can take care of them for us. I don't care what nobody says. It is something I have been preaching since 2024. I had really hoped that in the 4 years that had passed, that we would have gone down that road.
Right.
I know the present Minister of Finance is very in favor of what I'm talking about here with the no taxation of seniors. I've
Yes.
seen it on her platform also.
Yes, exactly.
So at least we got now a Minister of Finance that is willing to listen and go that direction. So
I'm very impressed with the Minister of Finance, by the way.
Yes.
I think she's held her own.
Yes.
She's spoken her heart.
yeah,
And she said something that kind of shocked me. I didn't think that her party was in favor for, but then she said some things. I am very impressed with the current Minister of Finance, that's for sure.
Mike, there are a lot of things besides just the financial, the education, and this and this. I'm saying think on things like heritage, culture. We talk so much about
important.
this,
Oh my
but
God.
we do absolutely nothing about it.
Yeah.
Mike, I boldly stated, I said, that monumental building we have on Front Street, we call it the courthouse today. I hope that in the term that we are going into after Monday,
Right.
that will become the National
Heritage
Museum or Heritage Center of
Yep.
St. Martin.
Yep.
And we put another courthouse,
Wherever.
some other place
Should be somewhere.
where we don't have a touristical media spectacle every time they bring in a prisoner. Let's walk in through the alleys and the streets of town with the shekels on and make sure we could get
Swat
him posted
around
up.
and-
Yeah.
yeah.
People on top of the roof with sniper rifles. And I'm saying, I understand the job, but that's the wrong location.
Yeah.
That is the wrong location. I can remember the days of the Larry Marr trial. They went on Belvedere Community Center, not Belvedere, Bel Air, and all kind of police all over, and it's touching everybody. Man, if they wanted to shoot the people, they'd shoot them long time. So I stop behaving. But the spectacle that we put on, we send such strange messages. The same thing with suddenly now you're seeing a barrage of military here, police here. If you want to check the fellas them who buying votes, you know exactly where to stand up Monday. You know exactly who to follow. You know exactly where the money is. Let's not pretend. Nowadays, we're looking for guns. Great, let's say so. But when you see the Dutch protecting a politician, and you see, because we are not protecting them, it's the Dutch, the PG is protecting the politician. When you see this and when you see that, you start to wonder what's really happening. What is the message? What's the undertone to what's going on? And we got to be careful with that. Because the world is watching also. It's not only we watching, the world is watching. And sometimes, we have to understand that not everything we do is right, but not everything we do is wrong either. And it seems that anything we do in Samantha, no matter who does it right now, it's wrong.
It's wrong.
It's never good. We can never do things in our own home anymore. And I'm saying we got to change that. We really, really have to change that.
And people give you the opportunity to deliver a final message to your voters. And for the Now Party, for your candidacy at number 2 on the list. And basically, tell people, why they gotta vote for Now, why they have to vote for the Now Party.
Mike, let me close with how I normally always used to start my discussions.
Yes.
The Bandcamp effect.
The Bandcamp effect.
Mike, with my knowledge, my ability, and my expertise, there's one thing that nobody can say ain't true. When I get involved, things get done.
Mm-hmm.
William Allen said, if you want it done, call Bunks. He didn't say it because he liked me. He said it because that's my record. That's my legacy. I get things done. I work very hard. I have proven over 35 years that I have country St. Martin, those days, Island, Habit, Island Territory, whatever you want to call it. But I have St. Martin at heart. I have paid my fair share to this country. I've done my duties to this country. The only reason, Mike, I am running this election is because I believe I still have a few good years in me to try and make a difference in the heading of this country.
Right.
My grandchildren, my great-grandchildren, for them I am doing this. Not for me, you and France, not for my children, because they can fend for themselves right now. But it is those youngsters that we are trying to deny a livelihood because of our behaviors at present in government. We cannot change everything overnight. We will need a term to make a serious difference in this country, to deal with climate change the way it should be dealt with, to ensure that we have alternative energies in place, to deal with heritage the way it should be dealt with, to deal with sports and different educational aspects the way it should be dealt with, to deal with one of the most important pillars in our in our country, seniors, that we ensure our seniors are taken care of once and for all, and that with every election cycle we coming back and we promising this. I ain't promising nobody a rose garden, but together we can plant those roses.
That's right.
So come August 19th, come out in masses. Use that God-given right you have to vote. Vote for the Now Party. And if you really believe that I have brought forward my ideas, my solutions, my way of funding those solutions, because I am one of the few politicians that has explained how I plan to fund the manifesto of the Now Party.
Yes.
I have spoken about it openly. I have said where the money can come from and how we can get it. And I have given, I didn't go out and say I'm going to sell shares and I'm going to do no. I'm telling you what can be done legally and direct,
Right.
without affecting the persons that we all claim to care so much for. I am Claudius Anthony Bandcamp. I'm the number 2 candidate in the Now Party. You want the Bandcamp effect? You go in Monday, you drop your vote on number 2 on the Now Party slate, the number 6 slate, that yellow slate.
I want to wish you the best of luck.
Thank you very
the party
much.
is going to do well. I
Yes.
hope it maintains and grows. And just do like I keep telling people, do like my friend says, press the flesh.
Yes.
Press the flesh of everybody.
Yes. I have a lot of more meet and greets. When I say meet and greets, I don't believe in the barbecue things. I just go there.
Go with people.
Yeah. I don't want nobody come and tell me tomorrow I try to buy a food with a chicken
With
leg
a
and a
piece of
Johnny
chicken,
cake.
yeah.
No.
Yeah.
So I stay away from that because nowadays people wake up in all kind of moods and say all kind of things.
Yep.
You know, so I just want to be very cautious. I go, I talk to people, I allow them to ask me any question. I'm an open book. I have
Yeah.
nothing to hide. My history, I put it out there. I didn't ask people to tell it. I put it out there,
Right.
and I try to be honest. I'm 61 years. I don't have no reason to lie to anybody anymore. I don't need to impress you.
Right.
I have impressed you already.
He is MP Claudius Van Campo. His number is 520-1188. He don't mind me putting that out there because he did it first.
But you're more than welcome to put it out there.
He's the deputy leader of the Now Party, number 2 on the slate. Go out and vote early, and if you're confident in Mr. Van Campo, give him your support. Bunks, thanks very much for being here.
To you and France, thank you all very, very much. Mike, it was a nice run. I
Yes.
enjoyed the interviews on my 88.3. You
Thank
all
you.
were very direct with your questions, open, and I think you got the best out of most of the people that came here to show the public of Samaritan. This is what it's about.
Right.
This is what you got to do if you really want to take this country to a new height.
Thank you very much and good luck.
Thank you.
Keep it locked to 88.3.